everyone! So today we're going to be learning a lesson in color theory. So what is color theory? Color theory is basically what we call color harmony. It's the logical structure and relationship between colors using hue, saturation, and value. Hue is basically another name for color. It's going to be any color you'll see on the color wheel that we'll be using, and this would be what is considered the pure color. Saturation is one of the ways that we can alter color. Saturation is how vibrant or how dull a color is, affected usually by white, gray, and black. And then value is another way that we alter color by making it lighter or darker. And you'll see this oftentimes on the color wheel as well, based on its relationship to white and black. Now, the shades, tones, and tints all play a hand in value and saturation. Shades are the base color, so the hue, and its relationship with the color black, so it'll be either more or less mixed into black. Tints are what happens when you mix in more white, so the color will become more lighter. And then tones are what happens when you add in grays. It becomes a little more saturated, and it's not as vibrant or as bright as the other colors that we see. Now, this in front of you is the color wheel. It has all the major different groups of colors, and it's broken up into two sides. We'll see on the right is warm colors, and on the left is cool colors. The first three colors that we're going to talk about are called your primary colors, and these are red, blue, and yellow. Now, the reason these are called our primary colors is because these are the main colors that all the other colors are going to stem from. We can't create these colors by mixing them with anything else, either paints or on the computer. These are just the primary colors that are going to be used throughout the color wheel, and as you can kind of see how they bleed into one another on this wheel. The next colors are our secondaries, and what secondaries are is they are a mix between two primaries. So you get green from yellow and blue, you get orange from yellow and red, and then you get purple from blue and red. Lastly, you have your tertiary colors. This just means it's going to be your primary plus a secondary color. Depending on which primary it is where it's going to be placed in the wheel. So this would be your yellow greens, blue greens, violets, purple reds, or violet reds, red oranges, and yellow oranges. Now on to color harmony. So there are many different color schemes that we have that create a relationship with different colors that actually look nice. And as you can see here, they have them all grouped, and we're going to go through them one at a time. Starting first with monochrome. So this color palette is when we take one single color from the color wheel. You can see here to the right we have a red color palette, and we basically use value and saturation to then make a spread of different color palettes that we can use for a picture. If we were to make this entirely gray, that would be a gray monochrome, so kind of treat it like that idea, where instead of using just white and black, we're adding a little touch of color to it. Analogous is three colors on each side of each other. So if we're using yellow as an example, as you can see from the picture, the two colors next to it would be a yellow orange and a yellow green. And then if we want to use the next example, we have a light green. We could be using an aqua color and then a yellow green with it to make our color palette. So they're going to be any three colors that are next to each other, that are neighboring. Complementary colors are colors that are opposite of each other on the color wheel. The most famous that you would see is green and red, which are often used as Christmas colors. Any color that is opposite of each other in equal length is a complementary and is often used with each other. So you have purple and yellow, blue and orange. So anything that's going to be across from each other is going to look nice. Now, split complementary is when you have one side using one color. In this case, we'll say that we're going to use this blue right here. And instead of it being in a straight line, it's going to cut into a bit of a triangle. And so instead of being the one that's right in front of it, it's going to be the two colors that are on the sides of that color, kind of forming this odd little triangle. So instead of yellow, we get a yellow-orange and a gold color for the blue. Triad are any three colors then that are equal length of each other, so we'll have an equal triangle. The example that we can see here is this magenta along with a yellow and an aqua blue. Now tetrad and square color schemes involve four different colors, either evenly spaced out in a rectangle or in a square. And so that's pretty self-explanatory. So when we make color schemes, and I will have you guys making some during class, you want to keep in mind not just using the raw colors that you get from the color wheel, because even though those are in relationship to each other, you don't want all of them to have the same value. You don't want them to all have the same saturation. So when we do play with color palettes, try and add a bit more variety and brightness to them, make some of them a little dark, because you want to keep in mind that for some of your colors, you're going to want some of them to stand out from each other.